So good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. It's quite off. Okay, I see some smiles, so that's good. Because unfortunately, I wasn't able to hear anything of your introduction, but I guess it was great. So thank you very much. And so yeah, welcome to this morning and to my talk called "Emails Can Wait Unless You're a Cardiac Surgeon." And why I'm the right one to talk about this? Because I'm actually a heart surgeon. So I'm a board certified cardiac surgeon. I've been a senior consultant in cardiac surgery, actually the first female one at my university. And no, I'm not that old. But in 2017, I ventured from being a cardiac surgeon into being a director at Deloitte. So I ventured into the world of consulting. And then 2022, I came to the region as a managing director of an international corporate. So you probably could say that I have my fair share of seeing different workplaces, experience different worlds. And so what I, experienced when I went from being a cardiac surgeon to being a consultant, it was like in cardiac surgery, I lived with my phone because every time it rang, it could be the hospital ringing about an emergency and about a patient. And that was okay. But when I was in consulting, everyone reacted to an email like it was a cardiac arrest. So everyone treated the email like someone was dying, but clearly not. But so that's what amazed me. And in surgery, really, we have the urgency and we have to treat the urgency of the patient with respect because urgency in surgery, it saves lives. But we think about the urgency we have in answering emails and being busy in the workplace. There actually the urgency leads to burnout. And so that's why I want to talk today about the 80,000 plus hour problem. And you probably think about why 80,000 hours? So what's that about? But 80,000 hours is the average we spend being at work in our life. For some, it might be more if you work more than 8 hours a day. For some, it might be a little less, but it's 80,000 hours. And when you think about, we optimize everything in our lives today. We optimize how we eat, how we train, how we sleep, how we look, but we don't optimize those 80,000 hours. And that for me is kind of, it's always amazing because we spend so much time at work and yet we don't care about it. We take it as a given. Thank God it's Friday. That's what we think. It's like, oh yeah, now I can go on into my private life. But it's not like that. So why don't we optimize the way we work? And when we think about maybe back 20, 25 years, how was the work reality? We had clear boundaries because you woke up, you had breakfast, traveled to work, sat on your desk, did your work, and then you went home. No laptops, no smartphones, nothing. So you had a clear boundary. This was work and this was life. But today, when we look at us, we have the work in our pocket because it's all on our smartphones. We take it with us wherever we go. Being it on the weekend, being it during holiday, we always have the work with us. So it's on us to set those boundaries because technology doesn't set that boundaries anymore. And yes, you can say, yeah, maybe it's, the responsibility of my employer. They have to care for that I'm good. But how you feel and what you do is foremost your responsibility. It's how you respond to that and how and what you do. And I do live in Dubai. I really like the city. It's all about bigger, faster, taller, and I do like that. I do like the ambition Dubai thrives on because it gives me energy and it kind of matches my ambition. But on the same side, we are not all built like that. We can't be on 24/7, even if the city is on 24/7. So our nervous systems haven't caught up and they are not the speed of the elevator at Burj Khalifa. So we have to take care of our body because our physiology is still the way it was back when we were in the Stone Age. So the brain especially isn't built for always on. Our brains can do incredible things. When we look around us where we've came the way from the Stone Age, we've done quite a fair bit with our brains. We have AI, we have flying taxis and whatnot. So we can do amazing things. But Our brain needs a rest. And that's just physiology, and that's for everyone. It's the same for all of us. Our brain needs a rest to get rid of all the waste it accumulates during the day. So in order for us to be at peak performance, to really perform our best, we have to give our brains rest. And the time when the brain actually does all the clearage and where the waste and the garbage gets out of your brain is during our sleep, and especially during our deep sleep. So that's the time where your brain recovers. That's the time where you thrive to be better the next day. So you really have to take care and give your brain that rest. And you've probably come around people that say, oh yeah, well, I can survive on 3 to 4 hours of sleep. At least I've seen a share bit in cardiac surgery. And other people that say, oh yeah, I can sleep when I'm dead. I guess you all heard that. But yeah, you can probably sleep when you're dead, but you're not awake when you're alive either. Because when you don't give your brain the rest, you're foggy, you're not working at the best. So yes, you might sleep when you're dead, but then you missed a lot of being alive. And so the cost of interruption. So when I talk to you about the email can wait, why? Because there's a study out there, and I'm a scientist by heart, so I rely on data and not just on a feeling. So the data shows that it takes us 23 minutes till we go back to the same space and thought where we have been when we got the interruption. And now I want you to think about how often that does happen. Do you have to multiply the 23 minutes by 10, by 20, maybe 50 times a day? How often is there an Outlook pop-up? Oh, there's a new email. Or how often is there a TikTok message saying, oh, you interacted with XYZ, so do you want to see the new TikTok? I guess it's a lot. And now multiply that by 23. So how much time is you're losing on productivity each day? So the 8 hours you spend at work are not 8 hours. They're probably about 4 when you have all the notifications on. So it's not about productivity when you think it's good to reply to any email immediately. And always on and always activated. That's what we are. We respond on weekends. We respond late at night. We are always on. We are always switched on because we are busy and we want to show that we care. But always on means chronic stress. Because in our body, when we are on and when we are activated, actually our cortisol levels rise. So we have high cortisols. And what that does to our body, it signals our body that something is wrong, that there's a threat, that there's a tiger coming to eat us. Because that was in the Stone Age. It was there for the danger, for the tiger that's coming to eat us. And now we think that a small thing like an email gets the same response in our body than the tiger. So in no ways, or not amazingly, we are drained. We feel exhausted. Because that's exhausting, because it's exhausting for our body to be on 24/7. And so the same with, I talked about sleep before because I'm very passionate about that topic, because it's one thing that's so easy and yet too hard to achieve. But sleep deprivation, yes, again, I'm citing a study and I'm citing data. When you are awake for 17 hours, that's not that long, then that's the same like your blood alcohol level would be at 0.05%. So that's the level where you are at least a little bit tipsy, and it's the level where in most European countries you are not allowed to drive anymore. So when you think you arrive at work at 8, you do your last emails at 11. So at least the last emails and decision you take are kind of the same like the influence of alcohol. And you wouldn't show up drunk at work, would you? But yet you show up sleep deprived. So think about that, and it even gets worse if it's longer. And yes, sometimes you have to be sleep deprived because life happens. And yes, I was not always working on 8 hours sleep while being a cardiac surgeon. Far away from that. Sometimes it was me being awake for 24 hours, having to operate on a patient. But that meant for that patient, it's either doing nothing or having a very sleep-deprived surgeon. So I was the best shot. But you have a choice. And when you have a choice, then always choose sleep. So the busyness I talked about, we are showing that we care. We do respond to emails immediately. We do respond on the weekend. We hop on the Teams meeting while on holiday. So you probably all had that one leader that's kind of annoyingly showing up while being away because it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm on holiday, but I just thought I'd pop into that meeting. Why? If you have a good team and if you train them well, they can take over. So it's no need for you to spend your holiday wandering and being in that Teams meeting. So we forgot with all the busyness, this busy is not a KPI because being busy is only the input. But what you should care about is the outcome, because that's what it's about. It's the performance, it's the outcome, because that's what in the end gets your company money or gets you money if it's your own business. It's the outcome. It's never the input. So you rather should think about, how can I provide the best outcome? How can I be at my best producing that outcome? And then when you do that, then worry about maybe can I shorten the time? Can I even do less of an input rather than doing more of an input? Because as said before, busy is not a KPI, but outcome and performance is. And when I look around, I think I probably see a couple of leaders around here as well. And leaders have the responsibility, and they do set the standard in the organization. Because your team will mirror you. They will do the same. If you send out emails at 11 p.m. or on the weekend, they will think that's the norm, and they have to do it too in order to be in your place one day. So they will do the same. If you show up sleep deprived, they will too. If you care about busy, they will too. But you won't make any money and you won't produce great output. So you really have to be careful of your responsibility as a leader as well. And off is the new on, and it's not a luxury. Recovery is not a luxury. It's not self-care. It's not something to belittle. It's actually, it's survival. And it's the way to be at your peak performance. And as much as I do care, and as I'm ambitious, and I really care about the outcome, but I know that in order to be at my best, I have to relax as well and to recover. It's the same in sports. We know that we do strength training, we train our muscles, we do that. That's okay, but we can't do that for 3 days in a row. I can't have a leg day for 3 days in a row. I mean, I can, but the output will be very, very little because our muscle actually grows when we give it time to recover. And as I told you before, the same for our brain, the same for our whole body. So we need to schedule in that recovery as much as the being switched on and as our performance. And so longevity, that's the new buzzword, and we see it all around on every beauty clinic at Alwaza Road. There's longevity written on all over. But longevity is not only to look younger, look better. It's more about to live healthy longer. And in terms of leadership, it's the longevity of leadership you have to think about. Because when you be or want to be a great leader for longer, you have to cater for the same 3 pillars that are so important in longevity as well. And they are easy for everyone, and they cost definitely nothing. And that's sleep, it's movement, and it's nutrition. So those are the same pillar that are the most important pillar for longevity, for our health, and for our leadership as well. And you have to think of your people as the operating system. Because without your team, you're nothing. You can't do it all alone, so you need your team. But you need to think about how your team functions. How can they bring their best to work? How do you get the best out of the people? And you have to protect their capacity in order to really protect your organization as well. And I want you to take something away with you today, not only maybe be inspired, but like really a couple of simple things you can implement tomorrow. So maybe not today, give it a night thought and clear your brain, but really implement tomorrow. One is 2 email windows a day. I know it sounds scary, But set for yourself one email window in the morning, one at night, or maybe depends on which time zones you're working with, maybe late morning, maybe early afternoon, whatever works for you, and then do your emails in one go. Don't have that notifications plop up every time, because what actually does happen if you answer to that email at 11 a.m. instead of 9:06? Nothing. No one is going to die. I can assure you that. No one. Schedule your deep work blocks. We talked about the 23 minutes it takes you to get back to where you've been. So really protect your deep work. Switch off all your devices. I know it's hard. No WhatsApp, no nothing, no email, nothing. Switch it off. But that 23 minutes you gain back, I think that's worth not to know who just posted a TikTok or who is actually sending you an ad on WhatsApp. It is, isn't it? So really take them as sacred and blend out the noise. Then have a 10-minute outdoor reset. So we all probably know those days where our emails list is growing longer and longer, and more items are being added onto, and you think, oh my God, I can't do all of that stuff in a day. I don't know where to start. I can't finish that today, but the deadlines are looming. And what you usually would do probably would be to go into the kitchen, grab a cup of coffee, and then go back to your desk. But instead of that third cup of coffee, I challenge you to go outside, to get some fresh air, not with your smartphone, leave that one behind, but it really just be there, just breathe, and then go back inside. And if it's in the height of Dubai summer or rainy European winter, okay, then sit at your desk, close your eyes, and just take 5 deep breaths. Because what those breaths do, they actually signal your body that you're okay. Because I told you about what your body thinks. So you actually, with just those 5 breaths, you tell your body there's no tiger. There's no one coming behind you, and you're okay. And so your nervous system and your body is calming down, and you have a better vision and better functioning brain to work on those to-do lists. Have phone-free mornings and nights. I know, crazy, and I probably, when I look around, who has their phone on the nightstand? No one wants to admit, but I do too. But so really leave your phones and don't check the emails first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. Because what happens? You check, it's 11 p.m., you check the email and you think, oh my God, that stupid colleague of mine, I hate that, he can't write that. Ugh, I'm so annoyed with him. So what do? Yes, you can answer, but you won't see it till the next morning, so there's no point to do. But what that does, it messes with your sleep. Because you're annoyed, you're agitated, you want to go to bed, and you go to bed and you're thinking about that email, so you don't get enough deep sleep, and actually you are not at your best performance. So that annoyed colleague, he had probably a good night's rest, and you didn't. So for what? For that annoying email? Probably not. And when you think about like that, you probably, you invite your work to bed with checking your emails, but you wouldn't invite your colleagues into your bed, would you? Just imagine that picture. So maybe think about that when you check your emails the first thing in the morning. And then get yourself an evening wind-down routine, whatever that might be for you, to really have your good night's sleep. And I know what you're thinking, because that's what everyone is normally thinking and telling me, but Kirsten, you don't know my boss, you don't know my company, it's totally different in my industry, I can't do that, that sounds nice on paper, but it's not what I can do. But I can assure you, I've seen quite a lot of different industries in my life. I've worked with a couple of Fortune 500 companies. I worked with senior leaders. I worked with junior leaders. And actually, it's working. If they dare to try, if they do that, that's better for them and better for the company. Because what your company is really caring about is not your busyness. Your company is caring about how much money you make them. And that's the outcome. They don't care about the input. If you perform on a high level, if you meet your deadlines, if you are brilliant in your job, no one cares how much time you put into. You can literally just put in 5 minutes if you're that brilliant, okay, for the output. But that's all they care is the outcome. And so you should too care about the outcome and not about your input. So, yes, what I say is we do optimize how we sleep, how we eat, how we train. And I challenge you to optimize the way how we work as well, to really think about those 80,000 hours, to really think about all those time you spend at work and really try to optimize that. Because the email can wait, but your life cannot. So thank you everyone for joining me today. It was my pleasure to talk to you about that, and hopefully you feel a little inspired about thinking to reply to any email. And if you are keen on really, optimizing those 80,000 hours, then you can scan the QR code, book a diagnostic session with me, so we have a quick check-in, so highly effective, little time into how to optimize your work. And so for everyone that's joining me at the Knowledge Talk Cafe, we have a more of an in-depth discussion. You can join me there for the next hour to go a bit more on the topic. We can talk about how it's for you and get a bit more hands-on experience. Then please go over to the Knowledge Cafe. And for everyone else, enjoy the next 2 days at the Knowledge Summit. Thank you.